So let's talk about reaction tests right quick. So mandatory reaction test. When units come to grips with the enemy, they have to make a reaction test, but there are exceptions, right? So a unit in uncontrolled advance need not make that test. So this unit of Billman will not need to make a test to come into contact. And they're not coming to grips either because the zone of control is out front of that unit. So no reaction test necessary down here. These guys, the other exception is the test need not only apply if the enemy unit is equivalent type and strength or better. So in this case, we've got horsemen attacking footmen, and these are considered medium versus light. So no reaction test will be necessary down here. Similar circumstance here, no reaction test. So no reaction tests for any of those melees before they go off. So let's handle this javelin fire. We're going to do the, oh my, so this was javelineers firing. These guys are considered irregular. So this 6 actually gets downgraded to a 4. And then it's going to be 4 minus 3, which is going to be a 1, which is a positive result for the reaction test, meaning a factor of 3 is going to be applied here. Are there any tactical factors that apply? Tactical factor, missileers firing at an enemy who has moved 6 inches. Well, he didn't really move 6 inches. He turned around and then was in contact pretty quickly. No master bows. Unshielded troops +1. So we're going from 3 to 4 factors already. I mean, kind of they're pursuing, but they were pursuing a retreating unit. Yeah, I'm going to give them +1. So what did I say? I gave them +1 for the unshielded. They're already at +3, +4, +5, so they're at 5. And then we're talking about missile fire. Hand-hurled javelin at medium horse is going to be 4. So 4 plus 5 is 9 factors. And he's got 5 firing. So 9 factors with 5 firing is actually 32 casualties. So that's going to be 1 casualty. We'll subtract 20 off of that. So that leaves 12 as the remainder. So he inflicts 1 casualty, and then I rolled a 16, so he only inflicted 1 casualty. But still, that's 1 more on this horse unit, which takes him down to 5. So if he went 1 more, he'd be at the 50%. Okay, so one thing I did not do is for those units that broke, I did not do the reaction test for units on their right and left. And I really think it's a bit much. Commander unit within 15 inches of it breaks unless the broken unit was known to be untrained. This does not affect a unit already in melee. Which unit? This unit was repulsed. This unit evaded, if I'm remembering right. And then that unit of Irish Kerns are the ones that broke. That sounds right. Broke. And then the unit of horse over here broke. I did not do any reaction tests for all these people, and I think it would be, this is something I think I'm going to drop from the rules. Let me go back to the original rules. Hang on a second. All right, let me go to the 1969 rules. Orders, change of orders, reaction test. Unit comes within 15 inches of enemy troops. Charged, close quarters fighting, breaks within 15 inches. This test cannot be taken where the unit under consideration is self-engaged in close quarters. And then that's item 4, IV. All right, so that was version 1. Version 2, let's see if we have any clarity here. Any unit within 15 inches breaks on every occasion. This test cannot be taken where the unit under consideration engaged in close quarters fighting. Support the. I think because of the large number of factors too, this will be all the units all over the place. I mean, you've got so many factors. I think I'm just going to exit. Let me take one more look. Let's look at the 3rd edition. 3rd edition reaction test. Let's see if it's still in there. Reaction test number 4. When a unit within 150 paces breaks, route passes or bursts through. So burst through, I understand. Well, they're keeping it in the 3rd edition. It seems like it's an important component, but it doesn't tell me what's going to happen when you pass. Again, there's a million factors here. Each friendly unit within 150 paces and in sight. Any friendly troops in sight. Any friends advancing within 150 paces. Any friends charging past. These are all adding 1, right? It's too much. It's too much, guys. I think if you burst through, yeah, it makes sense. But if you route past, no. I'm not going to do it. No, thank you, sir. No, thank you, sir. Melee. So upper dice, lower dice. We're doing cavalry versus footmen, right? Because we just resolved the missile fire. And I think the cavalry will give them the advantage here to do the chops first. So negative dice, but this becomes a 3 because this is a regular troop. So the difference is actually -2. So -2. And then as far as weapon factors, on the cavalry and melee, medium horse versus light, foot is going to be 5. So 5 minus 2 is going to be 3. So we're down to 3 factors. Let's see if there are any tactical factors here. Melee, defender is cover, flank or rear, nope. Attack, nope. None of that. General, distracted, distorted, nope. Height advantage, nope. Pursuit, nope. Okay, so we're down to factors 3, and we're going to put 4 or 5. We're going to put all 5 of those in contact. We're going to say these guys have come up online as part of their movement, yada, yada. And that means there are 5 in contact, 5 with factors 3. I'm sorry, factors 5. Oh, yeah, factors 3, figures 5, 8 casualties. Roll the d20 and nothing will happen probably. Oh, rolled a 1. Goodbye, one of these guys. So that one's done. Yeah, so the effect of hand-hurled weapons being thrown at the enemy just prior to melee are already factored into the combat results table. So missileers who do not use hand-hurled weapons can shoot the enemy who is charging them. In this case, was it a charge? No, but like I said, these guys were ordered to skirmish before the general order was received, which is why I gave them the javelin fire, because that's what a skirmisher will do. Back here, though, I'm going to say no. We're just going to assume that it's factored in. We've got we forgot our return blows here. Let's get the return blows here. So Lightfoot, and we'll bring this around to the front. This will be 5 versus 5. Again, they're now in melee. So irregular troops, none of those are a 1 or a 6. So we're keeping this. It's going to be -3. -3 for now. This is Lightfoot versus medium horse. So melee, Lightfoot versus medium horse is a 1. So this takes it up to 2. Are there any tactical factors here that can help this guy out? General considerations. Disorder, distraction, height advantage, pursuit or retreating. Nope, none of that stuff. Nope. Partial cover, flank or rear, unshielded. Unshielded troops. So those guys with the javelins had a shield. These medium horse do not have a shield, so that brings us up to -1. And that's it. So it's going to be 5 figures with -1. It's going to be some ridiculous low number. -1, 5 figures is 3 casualties. Rolled a d20 and I got a 12, so no casualties are what we're going to say. Moving on. Try to keep things in frame. So as I explained, we're not doing missile fire for this unit. These Irish Kerns are unshielded, so both units are unshielded. We have... I'm going to give the horsemen again the attack first. Make it simple. See if we can keep things in frame. Okay, the 6, because that's a regular unit, gets downgraded to a 4. 4 and 4 ends up zeroing out, so nothing for random factor. I think we already established that's 5 when medium horse attacks. Medium horse attacks Lightfoot, but let me double check that. Medium horse versus Lightfoot is a 5, in fact. Tactical factors, no general considerations are at play. Unshielded is going to give it 1 more, so that'll be 6. 6. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in contact, factor 6. Factor 6, 5 in contact, that's going to be 16. Factor 6, 5 in contact, 16. You can't see it, but that's what it is. Roll a d20, 16 or less, and we'll remove a figure, 12. We're removing an Irish current here. Oh, he did have the Army Commander with him. Oh, that applies to going back the other way. Never mind. Okay. Not the Army Commander, but he's got James Butler, the Earl of Wiltshire, with him. All right, going back the other way. So we know Lightfoot versus Medium Horse is a factor of 1. So we're going to give him 1. But we also need to do the random factor here. This is irregular troops, so we don't adjust anything. So 3 positive and 4 negative. That means the result is going to be a negative 1. And then, like I said, he gets 1 for having that commander attached, his noble. And then he gets 1 for unshielded. And that's it. So we're looking at 5 figures with factors of 1. Looks like 5 casualties. Roll our d20. Unlikely to do anything. 3. Wow, we did a casualty. I think, as with anything, you get better at this the more you play it. In this case, the horses will not be attacking to the rear. It's just the billmen getting their attacks in. So let's go through the factors. Let's get the random factor up here somewhere where we can see it, I hope. So 4 and 2. This is regular troops, so nothing gets adjusted. That's going to actually be a -2 to start with. He's attacking heavy horse in the rear, so that's going to be a +2, so that gets rid of that. Let's see if there's any other tactical factors that apply here. He was repulsed. So we're at 0 for our factors. And then we need the weapon factor. Weapon factor here is heavy foot with pole. He's got a bill. These are billmen versus medium horse. It's going to be a 3. 4 figures in contact with factors 3 is only a 6. And see what happens. D20 comes back with 17, so no casualties. That's the end of that melee. And that is all the melee madness.